Okay, so as a continuation of building the top covers, I'd showed you guys a video about cutting the metal for them, just my little way of how I was cutting the metal fast and easy. But I'm going to make this little bit here about the actual construction of the outer cover and how it all fits together and how I put it together with the finishing touches. So the construction is very basic. It's just lap joints on the corners. So don't quote me on the measurements. I'm not even going to say the measurements offhand. You can find them online, bsource.com, build it yourself, where I get all my dimensions. What I did though was you've got your two main horizontal pieces that are just straight cuts, and then on the end pieces, straight cuts with a 3/4 by 3/8 inch dado or rabbet taken out right here. I don't know which one it is, if it's a dado or a rabbet, doesn't really matter. But that just gives you a little bit of extra overlap. And so when I nail this together for these outer covers, I just do two nails right here on the corner to hold it together. I don't come in with toenails from this side. The reason being, what I do for added strength is on all of these cuts, this is only 3/8 of an inch here, because on all of these boards all the way around, I've cut another 3/4 by 3/8 dado out of each edge piece. Let me see if I have one cut. Well, it basically looks the same profile as, okay, this is the piece off the end for a box, but it's the same profile here, where for an end board you've got the two end dados cut and then a top dado cut like that. So make this board only 2 inches tall and not 6 5/8 inches tall, and you'd have the end caps for an outer cover. But then again, I just do on the sides as well. You probably don't have to do this, really. It's overkill, but it just gives you a little bit more surface area, a little bit more contact, so hopefully a little bit stronger construction. But as I was saying, I don't put toenails in here like I do on this side out here, because I also go all the way around. Once I put on this plywood, I go all the way around this edge right here. You can see there's a staple there, and then a staple here. So I staple in from the side here into the inner cover as well, so, or outer cover, I'm sorry, into the inner lid portion of the outer cover. So good sturdy construction. It's heavy, it's solid, that's what's important. This is 3/4 inch plywood. This is all 3/4 inch stock, where I've then cut out my proper dados for it all to lock together good and tight. And again, these plans are taken exactly from BSource. I don't think BSource calls for this extra little bit that I do here. I probably really don't have to. I just do because I've got the dado blade on anyway, so it doesn't take me but another minute to make those cuts. So let me get it set up here and I'll show you how I cut it. Alright, so as you can see, I've got my metal laid underneath. It goes all the way around. The metal is cut. It works very well because the outer dimensions of this outer cover, I believe it's like 21 7/8 or something wide. No, long. It works out to where it's just shy of 2 feet long, and it's just shy of 20 inches wide. It's 18 and something wide, 18 and 1/8 maybe. But it works out so I get just about an inch overlap. I cut these pieces of metal 20 by 24 inches, which is great because the rolls that I buy are 20 inches by 25 feet. I do end up with a 1 foot scrap left over, but next I'll go on to buying 50-foot rolls, I'm sure, so I won't have that 1 foot scrap left over. But anyway, to make it overlap proper, is I go in here on the corner, my shears, and I go right flush on the corner, and I cut a straight cut in, and then I make an angled cut here. So I cut out a triangle shape, and I'll show you why I did that in just a second. Now, these little shims of metal that you cut out, these little shards, these are extremely dangerous. If you stepped on one of these, it would embed in your foot like a razor blade. So do not leave these on the ground. Pick them up, put them in the trash immediately, and what I tend to actually do is even put them inside of something like an empty water bottle or something like that, just like I do with my razor blades that I discard from my utility knife. So little things like this can really get you, so you really need to be careful. For right now, I'm just going to toss it in my bucket because I'm being lazy, but it's not good practice. Highly recommend you have a bottle or a bin designed, specifically for those things. Come over on this corner, do my straight cut, and do my angle cut. And it doesn't have to be anything exact. pick up that little shim. And let me turn it around here. Okay, so I got it spun around. We're going to do the same thing. Straight cut, angle cut, and then come over to this corner, which I'm bending down, which is going to make it a little more difficult, but I'll just use my shears just to pull it up so I can see what I'm doing level. And make my straight cut and my angle cut. Now this is okay if it's not exact. Again, it's just, I just want there to be a little bit of overlap on these when I fold them down. I used to make just straight cuts and not do that angle, just a single straight cut, and it worked, but it wasn't as clean. Now the reason I do this is so when I go to fold all this together, I have a good overlap. So let me just spin this around. I've got my metals hanging up on me. Excuse the film. Excuse the video. Okay, so you see I've got a little ear here. And I've got a little ear here. The reason you have to make those cuts is so you can fold this up. If you didn't make those cuts, at least a straight cut, you wouldn't be able to fold this at all. So, and I just work my way down the line here, folding it up the best I can. You can see I'm off on the corner down here. But just start at one end and just work your way along. I'm going to set this down so I can use both hands real quick. And once you get it folded, the metal tends to have a memory. So once you get it folded, it'll kind of hang, it'll kind of stay in place, which is helpful. So there you can see it's kind of staying bent up on its own. I'm going to just grab my nail gun here. Excuse my fat fingers. These are 1-inch staples, so make sure you're into where they'll go into the plywood or else an inboard or else they will poke through. Single shot, and pins it tight. I'm going to work my way down the line here, get them all nailed up, and I'll go ahead and do the other side, and then I'll show you how I fold. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done both sides. You can see I've just got multiple staples running down the line there. Holds it good and tight. You will get a little bit of a bulge right here, but it's not enough to really even be of any concern. If you really wanted to be particular with this, you'd have to get a metal bender, something with a good sharp edge on it that would give you a good tight crease, but I'm happy with it being folded over like this. It works just fine. But anyway, the reason I cut the triangles like I did is because the next piece I have to do here is on these ends. So here's my little ear sticking out like that. I'm just going to fold that in and then fold this one in. And you can see I didn't quite cut that one right, so it's a little big, so it's kind of rubbing. And then I'm just going to fold this piece here up in the exact same way that I folded up the sides. So let me just do that real quick. Set this down. And there you go. See, it folds up, and see, that's why I like that little triangle. It just gives a little bit of decorative look. It makes sure that you don't have a straight edge right here on this corner that could possibly slice you. Well, I mean, you could still possibly get sliced, but it's less likely because the angle tapers in like this. So I'll go ahead and nail that together, and we're done. Well, I'm not quite done. There's one more step. So let me nail this. All right, so you see I've got an almost finished project. I've gone all the way around, folded and nailed, and again, you can just see now how that little angle kind of fits together. See, that's not perfect. If I wanted to be perfect, I'd have to do the exact measurements. I'm not that concerned. There is this edge here that can hurt you. So you've got to be careful, but that is the nature of the beast. I don't know. I guess I'd have to roll that edge under. Honestly, I'd have to look at a cover that I bought from somebody like Manlake. They have really good outer covers. I just build my own because I have all the capacity to do so, and I save a little bit of money. Theirs is a great product, and I mean, I mostly just modeled this off of theirs as far as how to cut the metal and stuff. Hope I'm not in any patent laws or anything. But anyway, last thing I like to do is if you look at this corner here, it can be a little sharp right there where the metals fold together. I don't know if I can get my camera to zoom there. It can be a little sharp. And so what I'll do is I just take my hammer. This is real scientific. Hope you all are ready for this. Take my hammer, line up on it, just give it a good thump. And you can see it just kind of bends that all around. Give it a little hammer back the other way. Just do whatever you got to do to take a little bit of that point off. Come around to this corner here. Same thing, and I just kind of run my finger over just to see how it feels. Make sure it's not so sharp, but I think it'll get me. Come down to the opposite end here, and you can see how that one is. There's actually a little bit of a gap there because that corner didn't fold over right, so I'm going to hammer that in and under. probably sounds awful on the video. I apologize for that. I'll have to turn the volume down on it. And get that going too. And that's it. We done. You've got a nice outer cover. Looks real pretty. Inner cover or inner side of it looks good. And yeah, we're gonna set this one down and we done. So I'll try to put that back, kind of post-date it, put it back in the order so that it comes right after the cutting the metal part. And I suppose someday I'll actually do a breakdown where I show all the individual components before they're nailed together. But that's it for now on how I attach the metal to the outer covers.